Hi, I thought it was easier to just record a video of the topics covered at the club sponsor meetings last week. I know everybody has competing schedules, so I just ask you to watch the video in its entirety and then let me know if you have questions. And then at the very end, I'd like you to send me an email letting me know that you watched it. Okay, so first off, the first thing I wanted to let everyone know is that I'm now using Microsoft Teams in order to help to organize and keep things all together. Honestly, I'm hoping this is helpful to you, but it's going to be very helpful to me because with the number of emails coming in, reports, documents, I know some people got a little bit frustrated because they sent me their beginning, mid, or end of the year report, and I had to ask for it again. So I'm trying to keep things organized. So first I'm going to show you, you should have gotten some notifications through Teams. I'm going to show you what it looks like and then how you navigate through that. So you should be seeing Microsoft Teams. And when you come in, first, if you hit your activity, it's just going to show all the activity and notifications you've had. What I want you to do is click here where it says Teams, and then you will navigate to one that looks like a little Trivial Pursuit pie here. And if you hit the little caret down, you should see a general channel, but then you should also see a channel for your club. If you do not see a channel for your club, please let me know. I added all of these clubs and I could have made a mistake. So please just let me know if you don't see that. One of the nice things about Teams is you see this little lock feature on all the channels. That means they are protected. So only you, your club sponsor, myself, and Jody Roper have access to all of this. I added Jody Roper as an owner just to have double coverage, because then if something happens to one of us or to you, someone will have access and be able to get in and be able to navigate this. So anyhow, so in the clubs and organizations, there's a general section. In this general channel, you'll see that some notifications have been put in here. You'll see that Carrie Hancock put something in here about Balloon Fest. I put a note in here about Meet the Clubs. You'll want to make sure on the general tab and on the club that you go in here and you change your notifications. This is something I cannot do on your end. You will have to go in and do it manually. But if you want to be able to get notifications when people put updates in here, please, you'll have to change that. Also, you might have to do that for your particular channel as well. So if you ever have anything you want to let people know about or advertise, you can drop it right here into the general. Now, across the top, there is a tab called Files. And in that tab, you'll see that I have loaded all of the documents that you should need for the year. These are all just copies. So if you're ever looking for an activity form, fundraiser form, or student travel form, those are all located in here. I also dropped agendas in a folder. So whenever you click on that, you will see that there was a meeting agenda from the 2 club sponsor meetings that I had last week. Now I'm going to pick on Club Fusion. So whenever you click on their particular club, what you will find in your individual club, likely there will not be any conversation in here, but when you click on Files, I have already preloaded in here the things that you will need for this semester to get us started. So when it comes to completing your beginning of the year report, you do not need to print this. You do not need to save it. You just click on the report and you will be able to go in, add your information, fully complete the form. And when you're done, you'll just hit close and it will save all of the changes. So this is where you will go to fill out your beginning of the year report, sign your handbook agreement, and to look at the handbook for the year. So I hope this is helpful. I hope it keeps things organized. You will also note that certain things, if you email them to me, I'm going to drop them into this folder. Again, it's a great way just to keep things organized. So if you have any problems with Teams, you have trouble navigating this, please let me know. I'm happy to help. Okay, moving along, changes in the handbook for the year. I did some updates to the reports. I took feedback from the sponsors, from others, that I basically took a lot of things out of some of the reports. Some of the things were redundant. They were things you have turned in the past. So I don't want to make things more difficult. So I removed things. One thing that was added is on the fundraiser and activity form, there's now an additional line for your vice president to sign off on your fundraisers. The reason for this being is over the past year, we've tried to clean up our budgeting processes for clubs, and clubs are Fund 20 accounts. And so in all actuality, those are overseen by Suzanne Chris because she is over the foundation and she oversees fundraisers for the foundation. So instead of adding more hoops to jump through, we just added another line to that form. So whenever I receive it, I will send it along to your VP and get their signature on it as well. So I just encourage that if you're going to do a fundraiser, please get that paperwork in as early as you can, so that way it can flow through those channels. Also, there were some changes to the rubric and also the process of doing the rubric. So let me pull that up. So I'm going to go back into Teams. So let's open the student handbook, the activities handbook. And I am going to zoom through this and go towards the end where that rubric lives. Okay. So there were some very slight changes to this rubric here. Mainly, we used to give points for doing things, for half doing things, and then we also gave points for not doing things. So I got rid of that. Now you only get points for full participation and then partial participation. I also made some notes here at the bottom. In here, there's something about club activities. So providing members with one activity each semester, providing members with activities each year. So I gave some examples of what might count as an activity. I also made a note in here that we can only count participation if a club member or a sponsor is present. So for example, we just had Meet the Clubs this week. If you want to table at Meet the Clubs, that's great, but the only way you can count it as participation in a campus activity is if someone is at your table. So again, clubs are all about student engagement and providing opportunities for our students. So it's important to have people at your table. Student life events, I gave some examples of what those might be. Ooh, excuse me. And then getting down to allocation awards. So I feel like it's very important for clubs to be able to increase the amount of things that they do for our students. Some clubs have a lot of money, some clubs do not. I don't want limited funds to make you feel like you're limited in offering things for our students. So we are changing the allocation process slightly so that way we can better document what our clubs are doing for our students and also provide possibly some additional funding for our students. So first off, this is the criteria that will be analyzed by the allocation committee when we make decisions about allocation awards. So first, we got to know how much money we're getting from the institution. So we have a budget line in student life that is for club allocation. So that's where we have to start from. You know, we have to know how much money we can actually give out. Two, we're going to look at the points that you achieve on that club activity rubric. Now, I'm going to put a little asterisk out there that we know that things were difficult the past 2 years and clubs have not been able to do as many activities as they have in the past, and you've been really limited. So that's why it's even more important that we consider things that you're planning for the future. So it's very, very important that you fully complete those end of the year reports. and fully complete the beginning of the year reports, because that is what the allocation committee is going to be using to come up with these rubrics. I mean, to come up with your points totals and make decisions about future funding. So, okay, I will use the rubric, and I'm going to use your end of the year report to figure out how many points you achieved from the previous year. Then we're going to look at how much money are you going to need for the coming year. So, this is where I open it up to all clubs. If there's something that you've really wanted to take your students to, something you wanted to do in the past, but you didn't have the funds to do it, dream. Put it on your beginning of the year report. We want to know, what do you want to do with your students? Okay. So then we're also going to look, number 4, at how much money you spent last year. And number 5, how much money you have in your current account. So it's just like doing your budgeting at home. When you're looking at how much money you need for an event or a vacation that you're doing, you look at what you have in your account currently. How much money am I going to need for the year? And then we're going to compare that to what you've spent in the past as well. So put that all in there. And then we're going to look at all of those things. We're going to look at the clubs individually when it comes to that allocation committee. And then we're going to make a decision. I also want you to keep these funds in mind as you go throughout the year. Let's say in November, you find out about an amazing conference or an opportunity to take your students somewhere or bring in a guest speaker in the spring. Shoot me an email, give me a proposal, tell me how much approximately it's going to cost, and we will see if we have funds that we can cover it. Again, the mission of Student Life is to engage students, retain them, and provide them with excellent opportunities. So we want to do just that. So that is an update to the allocation rubric and the process for the year. So the next thing that is on our agenda is to talk about budgeting. So we are trying to align budgeting for the clubs similarly to that we do for all our other budgets at the college. So, we come up with a proposal in the spring, and then it's approved in the fall, and then you have the calendar year to spend that money. What has happened is some clubs, due to the pandemic, a couple of years, and haven't been able to do a lot, things have been canceled. Some clubs have developed large balances in their account. So I reached out to those clubs over the summer and I said, we need to figure out a way, what are we going to do with this money? So I'm asking those clubs to think creatively about how they can use those funds. They were raised and collected for the students, so we want to spend those on the students. So it is okay if you have funds that roll over from one year to the next. It's going to be impossible to spend down to zero, but we really are encouraging our clubs to think proactively, think with a future mindset of how much money am I going to need for the year? How am I going to bring this money together and then getting it spent in a year? So again, we're trying to align club process similar to all our other budgeting processes at the college. And one of the reasons for this is that our club spending is now subject to be audited, just like all our other budget lines at the college. So we just have to make sure we're being responsible with those funds. Okay. So what is needed next? So after everyone watches this video, attends the club sponsor meetings that happened last week, we are going to be working on coming out with contracts for the year. So you'll need to sign so you'll be getting through campus mail your contract along with your handbook agreement. So make sure you review that. The next thing that is needed is completing your beginning of the year report and making sure your end of the year report is completed for last year. Those two things are needed in order to do your institutional allocation. Generally, that institution allocation goes to the October board meeting. So I need you to get those completed quickly so that way we can get that process done. Just a little update on co-curricular assessment. So as you know, last year when HLC was here, we had 5 clubs that served as model clubs for co-curricular assessment. We decided at the end of last academic year that we're not going to make any changes to that process. We're just going to move forward with the 5 clubs. We are going to work more this year on improving and making our process better. And then in the future, we might look forward to adding additional clubs. I will say that one club was identified that was already doing co-curricular assessment and doing the assessment reports, and that was our engineering club. So Michael Geiger has agreed to join our Fab 5. So now it's, I don't know, Super 6. So those will be our clubs with co-curricular assessment this year. So all other clubs, there will not be an expectation for you to do anything. But again, you're always welcome to. We encourage that, but we will not be asking for any documentation for you for the year. That's it. So please shoot me an email. Let me know if you have any questions. Just make sure that you have, I hope you have viewed this video in its entirety. That will answer a lot of things that are going to be happening for the year, why they're happening, and let me know if you have any questions or any problems with Microsoft Teams. Thanks for your time.